Have you ever wondered why the things that once brought you comfort and connection now feel rushed, disjointed, or even disappointing? Mr. George, now 70 years old, who has lived through the quiet transformations of body and mind over the decades, shares a powerful truth. As we age, even our most familiar private habits, such as self-pleasure, evolve in ways we rarely expect. He emphasizes that self-pleasure in later life is not only natural, but essential for physical health, emotional well-being, and inner vitality. Yet, many older men unknowingly fall into 7 silent mistakes that gradually diminish their experience, weaken their satisfaction, and quietly erode long-term sexual wellness. In today's video on Elderly Wisdom Stories, we will walk alongside Mr. George as we explore each of these mistakes, not to judge, but to understand, to grow, and to open a new pathway, one that is more respectful, wiser, and more deeply connected to our bodies. Stay with us until the very end, because the final mistake revealed could very well hold the greatest key to not only preserving, but also elevating your confidence, vitality, and joy in this vibrant chapter of life. After beginning by highlighting the unfortunate silence that often surrounds this delicate topic, Mr. George leads us to the first common mistake, a deeply ingrained belief, the idea that retaining semen enhances vitality. Drawing from personal experience in the latest research, Mr. George gently dismantles this myth. He explains that although certain online sources once promoted the notion that the longer you abstain, the stronger you become, modern science has revealed quite the opposite. When men over the age of 60 attempt to suppress this natural need for extended periods, they not only increase the risk of pelvic congestion, but also suffer negative effects in their mood, experience disrupted sleep, and even compromise the health of the prostate. Instead of feeling energized as they might expect, they are more likely to find themselves frustrated, irritable, and disconnected from the natural rhythms of their bodies. Mr. George emphasizes that moderate ejaculation should be regarded as a form of bodily maintenance, much like gentle daily exercise or mindful breathing, to preserve flexibility and balance. And when practiced mindfully, these private moments are not acts of indulgence but essential aspects of overall well-being, regulating hormones, supporting the nervous system, improving sleep quality, and nurturing a positive emotional state. He points out that the true misunderstanding lies between repression and control. Mindless restraint, he warns, often leads to deterioration rather than strength. Through his calm yet resolute delivery, Mr. George opens a new perspective, that it is attentive listening to one's genuine bodily needs, not mechanical denial, that fosters lasting vitality. And with the lifting of this first misconception, the door to restored pleasure and authentic inner freedom begins to open. But if you think simply understanding the importance of moderation is enough, think again. After helping us dismantle the misconception around repressing natural desires, Mr. George leads us into another common mistake, one that quietly but profoundly impacts the quality of sensation over time, repeating the same technique for years without change. He explains that for many men, familiarity offers a sense of safety. In the younger years, a particular method might have reliably brought pleasure, quickly and effortlessly. Over time, it becomes a mental shortcut, a path followed without conscious thought. However, as Mr. George points out, the body, particularly the sensory nervous system, is highly adaptive. And when a type of stimulation is repeated without variation for too long, the body adjusts. It requires stronger, more specific stimulation just to reach the same level of pleasure once easily achieved. The consequence? Instead of preserving natural sensitivity, men gradually lose it. They may even struggle to fully experience intimacy with a partner, feeling disconnected from the sensations that once felt vivid and immediate. Mr. George emphasizes that variety is the key to keeping sensations alive and the nervous system agile. He offers simple yet highly effective suggestions, varying the rhythm, adjusting the intensity, switching hands, changing posture, or thoughtfully incorporating appropriate aids. The goal is not reckless experimentation for novelty's sake, but rather to awaken natural curiosity, to gently challenge the nervous system and to avoid the deadening effect of monotony. He draws a compelling parallel. Just as the body plateaus if we endlessly repeat the same physical exercise, so too does our sensory system grow dull without new stimuli. In contrast, variation invites the body to adapt, strengthen, and remain vibrant over time. Mr. George reminds us that refreshing our techniques does more than enhance physical pleasure. It deepens our connection to authentic emotion and self-awareness. It is a powerful affirmation that our bodies at any age deserve to be rediscovered, revitalized, and honored along the journey of life. After helping us recognize the importance of varying technique, Mr. George gently guides us toward another widespread habit, one that few are willing to admit: rushing through the experience. He explains that many men, particularly those conditioned by the fast-paced rhythms of their younger years, unconsciously carry that same hurried tempo into their most private moments. In the past, social pressures, environmental constraints, or personal circumstances often made private pleasure something that had to be done quickly, discreetly. However, as Mr. George emphasizes, clinging to that same urgency at the age of 60 or 70 robs us of the opportunity to access the deepest layers of sensation and interconnection. He highlights how rushing reduces the experience to a mechanical task, something to get done, rather than a nourishing, meaningful moment. When we move hastily, the body barely has time to awaken its full sensory capacity. The nervous system cannot properly attune itself, and the mind fails to fully arrive in the moment. The result is often a shallow, abrupt end, leaving behind not satisfaction, but a lingering sense of emptiness. The solution, according to Mr. George, is deceptively simple yet profoundly transformative. Learning to slow down. Begin by breathing deeply, becoming aware of how the breath moves through the body. Allow each touch, each movement to have its rhythm, slow, deliberate, and fully conscious. When we give the body time to build emotion gradually, each phase of the experience becomes a journey, not just a race toward an end goal. Feelings arise naturally, the connection with oneself deepens, and the entire experience becomes richer and more nourishing. Mr. George offers a beautiful metaphor: savoring a fine cup of tea. If you gulp it down, you taste almost nothing. But if you sip slowly, allowing the flavors to unfold across your tongue, you discover intricate layers and subtle notes that would otherwise go unnoticed. Similarly, from what might seem like a familiar act, a whole new world of sensation can be revealed. Yet, as Mr. George points out, even if we master the art of slowing down, if we continue focusing solely on one small area of the body, the experience will remain limited. That realization naturally leads us to the next essential insight he wishes to share: the transformative power of exploring the entire body. After skillfully guiding us to slow down and savor each moment, Mr. George broadens our perspective once again, this time by highlighting a subtle mistake that many overlook: neglecting the rest of the body beyond the genitals. He emphasizes that for decades, many men have unconsciously programmed themselves to focus solely on one small area, missing out on an entire universe of sensation waiting to be explored. According to Mr. George, our bodies are not built around a single pleasure center, but are instead intricate maps of sensation, alive with thousands of nerve endings clustered in areas often ignored, such as the inner thighs, lower abdomen, sides of the torso, neck, nape, and perineum. When we limit our attention to only one spot, the experience not only becomes monotonous, but also risks emotional disconnection and eventual boredom. In contrast, Mr. George encourages a full-body, mindful approach. Rather than rushing toward the familiar goal, he invites us to treat the body as an old friend we are joyfully rediscovering through gentle, curious touch and deep listening to even the smallest responses of the skin and muscles. It does not require anything strange or extravagant. Simply allowing oneself to expand the field of sensation, to feel more, to feel deeper, creates a profound shift. When you approach your body with kindness and attention, you send a powerful message to your mind that you are worthy of care, affection, and the full, vibrant experience of being alive. Mr. George compares this to savoring a magnificent piece of music. If you were to hear the same note over and over, you would soon tire. But if you allow yourself to be carried by the full symphony, the shifts, the harmonies, the unexpected pauses, you are enveloped in a rich, moving tapestry of emotion. And from this deeper awareness, Mr. George poses a crucial question. Even if you explore the whole body, have you truly prepared the environment for comfort and full sensation? Because there is still one more simple, often underestimated factor, without which the entire experience could remain incomplete. Continuing the journey of embracing a fuller, more mindful experience of the body, Mr. George gently brings us to another crucial, yet often underestimated factor, neglecting the use of lubrication. According to him, overlooking lubrication is akin to setting yourself up for unnecessary difficulty, especially as the body naturally changes over time. Mr. George explains that after the age of 60, the skin tends to become drier. Elasticity diminishes, and the body's natural moisture levels decrease. Movements that once felt effortless can now lead to microscopic injuries, tiny tears invisible to the eye, but significant enough to diminish sensitivity, cause discomfort, and over time erode the quality of physical pleasure. But that's not all. Mr. George also highlights that those facing joint issues, such as arthritis or stiffness, should consider lubrication not as a luxury, but as a necessary tool for self-care. By reducing friction, less force is needed, thereby relieving the burden on joints already vulnerable to the passage of time. Rather than viewing lubrication as a sign of weakness, he invites us to see it as an intelligent and compassionate adjustment, no different than wearing reading glasses or supportive footwear when the body calls for them. Choosing a high-quality, gentle, non-irritating lubricant can completely transform the experience. A smooth, silky layer not only reduces friction, but expands the sensory range of touch, awakening nerve endings that may have long gone dormant and allowing for a more natural, pleasurable connection to the body. Mr. George emphasizes that this is not about artifice. It is about intelligent, mindful adaptation to life's inevitable changes. It is about maintaining a positive, nurturing relationship with oneself, not through force, but through understanding and care. And once the body has been thoughtfully prepared, once comfort, sensation, and ease have been honored, Mr. George gracefully leads us deeper. Because there is still one more barrier, often hidden but profoundly influential, the lingering feelings of guilt or shame that many unconsciously carry about caring for their own bodies in this intimate way. After fully embracing the importance of caring for the body on a physical level, Mr. George now gently shifts our attention inward to the world of the mind, where, unbeknownst to many, some of the most formidable barriers are quietly rooted. He shares that many older men, despite decades of life experience, still carry silent emotional remnants from their youth, a time when society, family, or religious teachings often framed self-care, particularly in the form of masturbation, as something shameful, something to be hidden. Although these stigmas may have faded outwardly over the years, their imprints often remain embedded deep within, subtly influencing the way one relates to moments of personal intimacy. In these private encounters, they are not only facing their physical sensations, but also a deep, unspoken current of guilt and self-judgment. Mr. George firmly reminds us, self-care, when practiced with mindfulness and self-respect, is a natural, healthy, and necessary part of a well-lived life. In later adulthood, masturbation is no longer merely a means of physical release. It becomes a profound act of self-nurturing, offering stress relief, emotional regulation, improved sleep quality, and a strengthened sense of personal agency. He emphasizes, there is no shame here, nothing to hide. On the contrary, acknowledging and honoring the body's rightful needs with tenderness and presence is one of the deepest acts of self-respect we can offer ourselves. In caring consciously for ourselves, we do not just maintain a positive relationship with our bodies. We enrich our emotional lives, ease feelings of loneliness, and foster a more profound satisfaction with the life we are living right now. Mr. George invites us to reflect with courage. Where do these lingering feelings of guilt come from? Are they still relevant to the seasoned, compassionate human being you have become today? When we release these old burdens, it is not only the body that is set free, the spirit too becomes lighter, more vibrant, and profoundly alive. After unlocking the freedom of the mind, Mr. George gently guides the audience into an even more practical dimension, where understanding and embracing modern support tools becomes a golden key to adapting gracefully and fully enjoying this new chapter of life. He opens with quiet candor. Our bodies change, and adapting is not a sign of weakness. It is a reflection of wisdom and self-respect. Rather than clinging to old ways when the body no longer moves with the same ease, Mr. George introduces the audience to a range of thoughtfully designed devices made specifically for older men. From ergonomic grips for those who struggle with hand strength or dexterity, to ultra-soft silicone products crafted to mimic natural sensation, these innovations are created with one goal: to provide maximum comfort while preserving the authenticity of emotional connection. Mr. George emphasizes that using these tools does not diminish masculinity, nor does it replace natural intimacy. On the contrary, they help the body adapt gracefully to its evolving needs, allowing men to maintain sensation, satisfaction, and agency over their own experiences. He openly shares that, just like wearing glasses when vision fades or using a cane when knees grow less steady, choosing to use support tools should never be seen as a weakness. It is instead a profound act of self-care, a way of telling your body, "I see you, I am walking with you." A message full of quiet power. See modern technology not as a replacement, but as a silent companion, one that helps you rediscover forgotten corners of pleasure and reconnect with yourself in a richer, fuller way. After mastering the tools and techniques for physical support, Mr. George gently leads his audience into the deepest layer of this journey, a transformation of mindset, a profound reconnection with oneself. He opens with a statement of quiet power. Lasting transformation does not begin with muscles or technique. It begins within the mind. For decades, society has planted heavy seeds in the consciousness of men, seeds of shame, secrecy, and silence around their natural physiological needs. These old patterns, though invisible, have continued to quietly shape how many older men relate to their bodies, even today. Mr. George tenderly begins to dismantle these layers. Instead of viewing self-pleasure as something furtive or shameful, he invites men to see it as an act of honor and self-care. Instead of rushing through it, he encourages cultivating curiosity, approaching the body's evolving sensations as a daily miracle to be explored, and rather than imprisoning themselves within outdated standards or silent guilt, he urges embracing oneself with compassion and honesty. According to Mr. George, when older men combine technical adjustments, such as diversifying touch using lubrication and exploring the whole body with emotional shifts like releasing shame and consciously nurturing self-kindness, they don't merely improve their experiences, they rebuild a sacred relationship with their bodies, a relationship based on respect, tenderness, and deep presence. He concludes with a profoundly moving message. This is no longer merely a story about desire. It is a journey of healing, of growth, and of rekindling the joy of being alive, one mindful, sacred moment at a time. When the mind transforms, even the simplest experiences can become a symphony of life, where every sensation is met with gratitude, understanding, and complete freedom. And so, together with Mr. George, we have journeyed through the 7 silent mistakes that many men in their mature years unknowingly fall into, from outdated beliefs to repetitive habits, from rushing through moments to forgetting the art of caring for oneself completely and mindfully. But the most important message Mr. George emphasizes is this: true transformation begins not with technique alone, but with a shift in mindset, from shame to self-respect, from mechanical routines to deep connection and healing. Aging is not a barrier to joy, intimacy, or vitality. In fact, with understanding and a few mindful adjustments, you can open a new chapter, one where confidence, satisfaction, and love for your own body flourish more powerfully than ever before. If you found today's insights valuable, don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Stories and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the meaningful journeys we continue to share. And we would truly love to hear from you. Which lesson resonated most with you today? Please share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. Thank you for walking this path with us. Continue to nurture yourself, even through the smallest acts, because every small choice is a step toward living more fully, more vibrantly, each and every day.